The advent of the digital age has allowed for significant progress to be made in how we treat missing person cases. Investigators can now broadcast information quickly and efficiently en masse with the touch of a button, and missing person alerts can be sent in seconds, allowing for greater public awareness. Despite all of the tools we have at our disposal, some cases still manage to fall through the cracks. Number 5. The family of Tapiwa Matui moved from Zimbabwe to Wales to give their children a better life. By 2019, their son, 21-year-old Tapiwa, affectionately known as Tapi, had built solid foundations. He'd recently graduated with a degree in IT from the University of Wales, Trinity St. David, and he was looking forward to landing that all-important graduate job. Before Tapi could enjoy the fruits of his labor, he vanished in what's become one of Wales's most bizarre missing person cases. In the early morning hours of February 7th, 2019, Tapi and his friends left the Fiction nightclub in the center of Swansea after a long night of partying and dancing. The group had only one thing on their mind: food, and luckily there was a 24/7 McDonald's just around the corner. CCTV footage shows Tapi and his friends entering the McDonald's at about 4:40 a.m. After chowing down, the men parted ways, not knowing it would be the last time they would see their friend. There's an abundance of CCTV footage available in Tapi's case, which makes it easy for investigators to track his final movements. At around 5:10 a.m., CCTV cameras catch Tapi outside a university accommodation building called St. David's. By 5:30 a.m., Tapi had made his way to Sainsbury's supermarket. The footage shows him walking alone. The final CCTV images come at 7:06 a.m. when Tapi is seen walking past the Swansea Yacht Club. After that, he's never seen again. When Tapi failed to return home, his parents panicked, and days later, a full search was in effect. Tapi's mother, father, and fellow University of Wales students put up over 10,000 posters which appealed for information. The university supported Tapi's parents, as did the South Wales Police. Multiple searches have been conducted, but no sign of Tapi has ever been found. His parents have even considered hiring a private investigator to get to the bottom of their son's disappearance. They told the South Wales Police that it's extremely out of character for Tapi to disappear without warning. The South Wales Police were able to track Tapi's phone and found that it was last active at around 5:30 a.m. on the morning he disappeared. There's been no further activity on his phone, bank accounts, or social media since his disappearance. Tapi's disappearance has received little coverage outside of Wales, and his family is now asking the public to come forward with information. Anyone with information is asked to contact the South Wales Police on 101, quoting case number 19000051830. Number 4. December 10th, 1982, started like any other for 30-year-old William Earl Clifton. William and his wife lived in Washington, North Carolina, and had been married years earlier. The two also had 2 children, and those who knew them stated that they were incredibly devoted to each other. Reports indicate that William was very happy in his marriage, so why did he mysteriously disappear one frosty December evening? On the evening of December 10th, the Cliftons were relaxing at home when the phone rang. William answered and hurriedly left his home on West 2nd Street. William's wife was confused as to why he had left without a word. She would later tell the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office that she was under the impression that William had left to buy Christmas presents. While William's wife relaxed at home, he had actually headed to the VIP Tavern 6 miles away. At the tavern, now known as JW's, William met up with David McMicken and Michael Fay Norman. The 3 were seen together at a table, and bar patrons said that the 3 left shortly before the last orders. As they left the tavern, the 3 stepped into the abyss, never to be seen again. William's wife worried when her husband failed to return home that evening and reported him missing to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. Michael and David were also reported missing. Multiple searches were conducted and bar patrons were interviewed, but nobody had any viable information. Many sources state that William left his home that evening following an argument, something his wife has refuted multiple times. According to the Charlie Project, David McMicken and his wife were expecting a child, and she knew that he wouldn't miss the birth for the world. Rhiannon Mayo, Williams' daughter, revealed to WITN that a few weeks before her father disappeared, he and David McMicken had been made redundant from their jobs at the Texas Gulf. Investigators are unsure whether this is significant, but Williams' daughter stated maybe that's where the connection is. In February of 1983, the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office got a massive break in the case when Williams' black 1975 Chevrolet Camaro was found 500 miles away in New York. People were arrested for stealing the car, but it's unclear whether this is connected to the disappearances, as investigators have been tight-lipped. Anyone with information is asked to contact Lieutenant Jim Van Landingham of the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office at 252-946-7111, quoting case number BFA 967. Number 3. In late 2011, Gene Jacob Cloud Jr. moved to Tomah, Wisconsin to be closer to his girlfriend, who was expecting their first child. Things hadn't always been easy for Gene, and he'd picked up minor charges throughout the years. By 2012, he had a warrant out for his arrest on minor charges and was doing his best to take control of his life. Once Gene settled with his girlfriend, he decided to return to school and get his GED. The two were preparing to welcome their first child into the world, and families on both sides were elated to have a grandchild. Before Gene could hold his bundle of joy, he disappeared. On January 25, 2012, Gene hopped into his girlfriend's sister's car along with his 6-month-old Dachshund puppy. While driving around Highway O, close to Millston Township, Gene lost his grip and slid into a ditch. Gene revved the engine several times and tried to reverse, but he was stuck. He began to panic as the car wasn't his, and he saw a Jackson County sheriff in his rearview mirror. According to the police report filed by the Jackson County Sheriff's deputy, he approached Gene and the stuck car to ensure everything was okay. When the deputy approached the car, he asked Gene for his license and paperwork. Instead of pulling out his license, Gene grabbed his Dachshund puppy and took off running into the woods that was covered in a thick blanket of snow. The deputy requested backup and began searching for Gene. Other officers arrived at the scene and attempted to follow Gene's footprints, but they eventually petered out. Witnesses recalled seeing Gene walking along Highway O, but these sightings have never been confirmed. Gene's girlfriend and family were alerted to his disappearance and arrived at the scene soon after. Gene was a registered member of the Ho-Chunk Indian tribe, and tribal party members banded together to form a search party. This search party discovered Gene had run at least 3 miles into the woods and had even crossed back and forth over the road into the woods a few times. Sniffer dogs were also deployed but failed to find anything significant. Since January 25th, Gene has never been seen or heard from again. His family commented that he was excited to be a father and wouldn't have missed the birth of his child. Anyone with information is asked to contact Chief Earl Lameau of the Ho-Chunk Nation Police at 715-248-2658, or Detective Nicholas Gray of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office at 715-284-5357, quoting case number 1200595. Number 2. 60-year-old Bobby Ray Fitzgerald had held the same job at Ply Gem for over 30 years, so his coworkers were immediately concerned when he failed to show up on November 15, 2012. Bobby was an avid outdoorsman, and he often spent his weekends hiking and running in the Augusta County, Virginia wilderness. Bobby's disappearance sparked an investigation that would turn up some bizarre clues and evidence. On November 10, 2012, Bobby and a female friend took a hike along the Confederate Breastworks Trail near Shenandoah Mountain. The two were captured on camera by a company nearby who were filming the mountain. When Bobby and his female friend returned home, he realized he lost his phone and shirt during the hike. The following day, November 11th, Bobby returned to the Confederate Breastworks Trail alone to try to locate his items. Unbeknownst to Bobby, another hiker had already picked up his phone and shirt and handed them to a ranger. The trip should have taken Bobby at most a few hours, but he never made it out. He was reported missing days later when he failed to show up to work, and the Augusta County Sheriff's Office put together a search party. As reported by the news leader, the Augusta County Sheriff's Office covered more than 50 miles of the trails leading to Shenandoah Mountain. along with 4,500 acres of land. Over 200 search and rescue personnel joined the search for Bobby, with sniffer dogs and helicopters being deployed. During the search, investigators found Bobby's 2001 Kia abandoned in the trail's car park. They found power bars, water bottles, a light, and a rain poncho inside the car. Investigators are still unsure why Bobby didn't take these items with him. Officers described both his car and home as being in complete disarray in an attempt to suggest that he may have taken his own life. Those who knew Bobby don't believe this theory, as he was incredibly close to his 90-year-old mother, of whom he was the only child. There are numerous theories in Bobby's case, and any of them are possible. He may have become injured while out on the trail, and he may have succumbed to hypothermia, or perhaps run into someone with evil intentions. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Augusta County Sheriff's Office at 540-245-5333 or the Staunton Police Department at 540-332-3842. Number 1. 28-year-old Israel Ray Smith had recently moved to Whiteville, Virginia, and things were going well. In 2007, Israel got a job at a local Radio Shack store and quickly rose the ranks. Those who knew him described him as a hard-working and dedicated employee. He was also dedicated to his family and his son from a previous relationship. By 2008, Israel was seeing someone new, but he always prioritized time with his son and his family. So when he failed to show up for an important occasion, his family knew something was very wrong. On March 10, 2008, Israel closed the shop, telling his manager that he would see him tomorrow. The following day, Israel failed to show up for his shift, something that he'd never done before. His manager was irate and awaited Israel's apologetic call, but that never came. His mother, Debbie Sexton, was particularly close to him, and the two often spoke or saw each other multiple times a week. Debbie felt something was off when she didn't hear from her son, but she gave him some space. March 13, 2008 was the day that Debbie realized something was very wrong. The day was Israel's brother's birthday, and the family held a party at their home. Israel never showed up and wasn't answering his phone. Debbie had gone to his apartment throughout the week, putting little post-it notes on his door asking him to call, but there was radio silence. Finally, on March 14th, Debbie called the Whiteville Police Department to request a welfare check. Unbeknownst to Debbie, the police had already attended Israel's apartment after they received a call from his manager. Israel's green Ford Explorer had not moved from the apartment's car park all week, and when Debbie searched it, she found that the doors were unlocked and a basket of clean clothing was still inside. Inside Israel's apartment, investigators found something strange. All of the lights were on in the living room, as was the TV, and it was stuck on a game console screen with the controller stretched across the floor. His keys had also been left on the coffee table. Debbie described Israel as a neat and particular person, one who believed that everything had its place. He also always kept the doors of his home and car locked, so what had happened? According to SWVA Today, Israel planned to break off his relationship. The woman Israel was seeing had recently moved in with the man who had just been released from prison. Anyone with information is asked to contact Gary Davenport of the Whiteville Police Department at 276-223-3300, quoting case number 2008-004-374. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.